Welcome to You Know Me, a podcast in Brunswick and the Golden Isles. I'm Buddha.
I'm the Beard.
Beard, what is going on?
Not much. Today is Monday.
It's Monday.
Very hot today.
Oh, man, I tell you, it is hot. It's way hot. And you know, I was working all weekend in the backyard, and I did that little promo for the roll-offs.
For Brad.
And got me thinking, because we're in a place that does a lot of promoting of people's businesses around here.
Yeah.
And we're here at H2o, and we have two lovely ladies in front of us. And why don't you two introduce yourselves, what you do here, and how long you've been here for.
Okay, I am Becca Proudfoot. I'm a project manager and a social media specialist here at H2o Creative Group, and I have been here for 3 years.
I'm Juliana Hansen. I'm a social media specialist here at H2o, and I've been here just over 2 months.
Oh.
Wow.
Great. So we got, sort of a veteran and a newbie. So maybe you could learn a few things while we're doing this, maybe.
Yeah.
So what does H2o do? If you're trying to tell someone what we do here.
Yeah, so we always describe ourselves as a full-service agency. So we have a team of graphic designers, web developers, social media, obviously. We have photographers that we work with. We have a digital team, so we do like Google Ads and that sort of thing. Pretty much, if you can think it, we can make it happen.
Wow.
And if we can't make it happen, we usually know the people that can make it happen.
And do you focus mostly on Brunswick and the Golden Isles, or what's your span? Are you nationwide?
Yes, we are. We have companies like King and Prince Seafood, Wallenius Wilhelmsen, which is actually worldwide.
Yeah.
And then we have clients who are just local here to Brunswick, nonprofits. We haven't really limited ourselves to one certain industry or really the size of a client. We just love helping people promote their businesses.
Now, is this something you always wanted to do? Did you, when you were in high school, you wanted to get into marketing, or how did you end up with a career in this?
Well, actually, I was going to be a nurse, but my freshman year of college, I quickly realized I did not want to be a nurse, and I chose the business route just because it seemed easier. And I actually fell in love with, we both actually had Professor Scott Williamson at CCGA, and we both... Well, I can speak for her because we talk about him all the time. We took every single one of his classes that we possibly could, and he was a huge inspiration to both of us, and he really got me on fire for marketing, and I really love what I do now. But no, that wasn't what I was going to do at first.
And what about you?
I chose the business route because I took a marketing class in high school, and that was the only teacher that I really got along with. So when I went to college, I decided to do business and marketing because I knew I wouldn't be able to make up my mind, and with business you can kind of do literally anything. And then with Professor Scott Williamson, it really got me in love with marketing, and I'm really happy to be here.
So Professor Scott was the marketing professor for the...
Yeah, I mean, you have other professors, but he taught sports marketing, introduction to marketing.
He taught a business communications course, and
Yeah.
What really helped me a lot was like all the guest speakers he brought, and he just has a huge network of people who told very inspiring stories, and it just made it seem real and achievable to go far in marketing. So that just is really what inspired me.
And he worked for Coca-Cola, and so he never really taught by a book. I never bought a textbook for one of his classes. He didn't really teach by a book. He just taught by his personal experience. And it's like, when you're not reading out of a book and you're actually hearing real world stories, and then you're doing real world applications with it, it's like, it's perfect.
Yeah, more hands-on in the marketing.
Yes.
It was awesome to hear the stuff that he's talking about, and now I'm in the marketing world and it all applies.
What is the hardest part of marketing?
Oh, that is a good question.
I think the hardest part for me so far, still being a little newbie, is most clients think that their target audience is everybody.
Yes.
And it's not. I mean, it can be. Of course, you want as many people to get your product as possible, but the more narrow you get your target audience, the much easier it is to market.
Another challenge that we face is, we've got companies who do have marketing teams that we work with, but then we also have companies who the owner is also the marketing director of the company. And so you get emails late at night at 8-9 o'clock when they actually have time to sit down and think about this stuff. And sometimes it can be challenging to pull content from them or get answers on, hey, is this okay?
Yeah.
So do you build from the ground up? So if I come in and I said, this is my vision, will you build something from the ground up?
Yeah, absolutely. We can, even if you don't have a name, if you just have a concept of what you're trying to do, we have a team of graphic designers and creative directors, and we'll just have a big brainstorm. We can help you name your business, and then from there we'll build a brand, and then from that brand we'll build a website, we'll build social media pages, and really just help you grow.
Wow, that's cool.
So this is a from cradle to grave kind of business here. You can do everything from catalogs to websites to Instagrams and Facebooks and
Yes.
all that. So you're all encompassing. You get a full menu here.
Yes.
Nice.
I love it. I get bored easily, so I love having different clients, always different things to do. And I knew coming out of school I didn't want to market for one specific company, so this was the perfect place for me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
And that's the
definitely.
great thing about working at an agency is, 1 minute you're talking about Vidalia onions, and the next minute you're talking about seafood,
Yeah.
and then the next minute you're talking about mulch. We've got such a wide variety of clients, and you've got to be able to switch your brain super fast but it's a lot of fun.
I was going to say, you're dealing with onions and then topsoil, and like, make sure you don't get them confused. You accidentally put a Vidalia onion on a topsoil. Maybe it works. I don't know.
Maybe you can just introduce it to because
Yeah, 'cause you need the soil.
Yeah.
So every day is kind of a little bit different for you. It's a challenge, a little bit every single day. That's what I miss.
The challenge.
The challenge. I did one marketing course. 'Cause that was my prerequisite.
So you're an expert.
No, far from being an expert. But, because I went to basically it was a private business college.
Okay.
It was an accounting factory, really. They just cranked out accountants. But they had, a few marketing majors over here, and a few management majors over here, and I think there's 2 math majors. That was pretty much it. Yeah, but I actually did enjoy the marketing part of it. That class was a lot of fun because you got to be creative.
Yes.
And we got to do some fun things. I mean, we didn't have the social media that we have right now.
Right.
We didn't even have phones with cameras on it, but we did video cameras, and we would do videos of ads and things like that we do out on the street or something. So it was kind of fun. It was a great way to tap into your creative side.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that an issue? Because you've got a whole bunch of different creatives under one roof here. Is that sometimes, feathers get ruffled a little bit?
Honestly, no. We are really good we like to say that we're a collaborative team, and we are. So we work really well with the client. And like I was telling you guys earlier before we started, Juliana and I work together on some of our clients where we kind of tag team it. And, it's our clear roles are you're going to do this, I'm going to do that. As far as the creatives go, the graphic designers and the web developers, the graphic designers kind of create the brand, and then from there that's the end all be all. You have to go by this brand guidelines, and everybody is really good at taking the brand that our graphic designers have built and just turning it into a full marketing plan.
How long does something like that would take? Like if I was a business and I come in and I said, this is what I want to do, what is usually the timeline?
I would say it typically, based on client feedback, of course.
Yeah.
Typically, it could take you about 6 weeks to have a logo and a brand.
Is that a ghost?
No, that's the construction, like we talked about before.
That's all right.
Didn't know they were still doing it. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
You can AI that out.
Yeah. So sorry about that. So, sorry about the timeline you said you had.
Yeah, so typically, giving client feedback and, their timeline, we usually can have a brand ready in 6 weeks.
Wow.
That is if everything goes perfectly, and, we usually give 3 concepts first, and a client will kind of pick which concept they like, and then we'll build off of that. A website, I would say, usually takes about 6 weeks as well, given that the client gives us the content that we need to be able to create that. Sometimes it's kind of hard for clients to, they're like, I don't really know where to start. And we try to give kind of guidelines on like, this is what we need. But sometimes, these guys are busy too. They're out running their businesses. And so, it can kind of take them a little longer. Social media pages, we can start up, within just a few weeks and get a content calendar ready.
Do you ever do, what's the word? Not customer feedback, but like do you like testing on some of this stuff? Like, how like a movie might be coming out and they'll give it to a test audience to see the reaction of the movie. Do you ever do that with your marketing?
Sometimes, yes. I know that one of our clients, King and Prince, they do a lot of testing on stuff that we create. So every year we create a product guide for them, and we'll give them 2 or 3 different cover options for what the front and back cover will look like, and they'll send it out to their brokers and to the operators and get their feedback on like what they think people will be most receptive to, and that data is very interesting.
Yeah, because again, with Sam's Club or Members Mark, like I signed up for like their surveys, so I always get like these surveys for like their new, like I already got it for spring. Like they got these spring plates that are coming out, and so they'll be like, do this survey, and I gotta go through all these different plates and like, which one do you like, and which one do you think is nice, or would you buy this? So I was just wondering if you do that with any of your marketing, or I notice you guys have like little cans and mugs and stuff.
Yes.
Like.
Yeah, we don't typically do too much of that survey type of stuff, but I mean we can if a client wants to receive that data. Of course, we have that capability.
Yeah. Now, speaking about data, do you guys keep track of data, like how well the marketing campaign or advertisement or whatever you put out for the client, how well it's doing?
Yes, for sure. And we always like to hear feedback from our clients who are out there doing it every day, and we like to hear like, what worked and what didn't. That way we can adjust for the next campaign moving forward.
Cool.
Are some of your clients more like social media content heavy than, say, website or some other marketing strategy?
Yes and no. We typically don't like to do social media unless they have a website. And now we do have clients that we didn't build their website, and that's okay, but we still run their social media for them. But one huge factor with social media marketing, ad campaigns in general, is that, we have found that sending people to a website proves the best results instead of just doing what they would call an awareness campaign, where we're just throwing out our creatives into the world and people like it or comment on it. Oh, that's feedback, but when you actually see people go to the website and learn more about that company, then and we get that data, we can see how many people viewed our post, how many people went to the website based off of our ad. Sometimes we can even see if they took a further action to call from our ad, and it gives us such better data.
Now, you were talking about finding the target audience. Now, how hard is that when you're dealing with like a company? Like they want to say, I want to reach everybody, but you got to be like, no, we got to. And how do you find that target audience for them?
So I typically will tell them, you want to you want as many people to buy your product as possible. And I try to explain that if we do have we call it an avatar. So you kind of create a person for that brand. Like, for example, Dr. Pepper. If we want to target maybe 18 to 24-year-olds men, we would pick a guy like Mike. What is Mike like doing? What brands does he like? All that kind of stuff. And the more information we can gather on that person, the better we can target our ads. But I almost like to keep that internal between us when we create a specific avatar, because the client typically, sometimes they aren't receptive to it, sometimes they just don't want to know everything about it. If they do want to know, then we tell them, of course, but I'm just like, hey, Becca, we're creating this ad campaign for Mike, so what kind of post would he want to see? What caption, what specific wording does he want to hear in his ad? It's like a little internal thing.
Nice.
And we've been critiquing it lately.
Yes.
So
and I'm glad you mentioned that. What kind of captions do they want to see?
Mm-hmm.
So when they're creating the brand, part of that is the brand voice. So it's our job from there to generate the brand voice through these captions and make sure that we sound like that company would sound.
Right.
And that's sometimes a challenge as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And some might even have multiple target audiences. I know for Nature's Choice, they sell mulch and soil in bulk, and so we want to target landscaping companies. We also want to target retailers who sell the product, and then we also sometimes want to target people who buy it, not necessarily so they'll buy it straight from Nature's Choice, but so they'll go to a store and seek it out. So each target audience would want to see different posts and that type of thing. So it's a lot of fun.
Do you ever get to try any of the products?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Okay, so that's definitely one of the perks, right?
Yes. Yes.
Especially when it's a vodka based.
Yes.
Now, when you are trying to target the audience, do you look if it's a already existing company? Do you look back at their sales to see who normally purchased this,
Yes.
and then try to develop that voice for that customer?
If it's already an existing business, we love to see what they've already been doing and what has worked. If they're not doing anything at all, then obviously we can start from the ground up. But any information that we can get, from the start, so that we can build a better plan and build off of what they've already been doing, is perfect.
Yeah.
I'm sure for some of the smaller businesses they may deal with, I advertise in the phone book. Okay, what else? So you kind of almost started from scratch a little bit. You really don't have a whole lot of data to work off of.
Right.
Does that make it a little bit more difficult to kind of get the ball rolling? Because, if you're using a much larger company that has a marketing department that has a lot of the data that you really are looking for about target markets and demographics, it's easier to kind of dial in. But hey, I'm just Frank and I own a couple pizza places, and I advertise in the phone book and I put flyers in people's windshields. I don't know who comes in here and who doesn't come in here.
Yeah.
It makes it kind of like almost starting from scratch, right?
Right. And some of it, honestly, is trial and error. Sometimes you might be talking to a target market and that message doesn't resonate with them, and that's when you just have to pivot. And a lot of marketing is pivoting.
Yeah. Now, do you, one of the things, I mentioned the pizza place, but one of the things I did when I had my pizza place is I leveraged real estate agents.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're dealing with people moving to the area.
Right.
My idea is when you move, you're either buying pizza or Chinese food. And the only person you know in town is your real estate agent. So you're asking where's a good pizza place? And people are always connoisseurs, but the first pizza place you go to is usually the pizza place you stay with, unless it's absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
So that was my whole thing. So I would print out these welcome to the neighborhood, have a free pizza on me, and then have the real estate agent's name. And I had, like 80 real estate agents all asking for it. And it brought a lot of people in. And I had I'd say about a 50% return on that, which actually was really good. They got their free pizza, and they came back, and they came back, and they came back. But do you do that? Can you work with like one company to leverage with another company for marketing?
Yeah,
like that?
absolutely. Like I said, we haven't limited ourselves to any one industry. And so, we might use one of our clients to help another client, and they actually strike up a partnership. But I wanted to mention, you talking about printing out flyers and that sort of thing, and the only person when you move into a new town is, your realtor. Unfortunately, but fortunately for us, digital is huge now, so it's almost impossible for somebody to not be able to go Google best pizza spots in town. Or I can serve them up an ad as they're scrolling on Facebook, and they can see how delicious and cheesy your pizza looks. And, we can do an offer deal where they get 50% off if you mention this post or something like that. And that's what we love about the social media aspect of it, is because you can just reach so many more people than, if you're just using a print ad.
Yeah, I don't think there was Instagram when they had I think Facebook was just the thing starting out. But yeah, now with the way social media is, you can just, and it's so targeted.
Yes.
It's a little bit scary though.
It is. Yes, it
it's
is.
Just like, maybe you're the two I need to talk to about this, because if I'm sitting there talking about like, oh man, I think we need a new lawnmower or something like that, then I'm scrolling through Facebook and I'm seeing like ads for lawnmowers showing up, like, wait a minute.
And they swear they're not listening to it.
Yeah, I know, right.
So now you guys mentioned ads on Facebook or Meta. So do you, for the companies, you purchase those sponsored ads on Facebook, on Instagram for them?
Yeah.
So they'll give us like a certain ad budget, how much they want to spend, and from there we can go in and build the campaign. If they have Facebook and Instagram, you can build it at the same time, or if they just want to do either or. And then that's also where the target audience comes into play, because you can insert like demographics if you want to target a specific location, because that business is in a certain location, or you can target people who have interest in something. So like for your pizza place, you can target people who have been looking up pizza spots, or people who have been on Instagram looking at pizza stuff. So
or just really restaurants cool. in general.
Or just restaurants.
Right, yeah, because that's what we does now. We'll just Google like, where am I going to go eat today? Restaurants in Savannah. Then it's like almost information overload.
Yeah. Oh, and we've been talking a lot about the social media aspect of it, but Google is huge as well. So like, we can do a what we call a pay-per-click campaign. So basically we buy a whole bunch of keywords that people might be searching, and when they search food near me, pizza near me, cheese pizza, whatever the case may be, we're going to pop up as a sponsored ad on one of the top, websites. So when you're searching on Google and you search for something, there's usually about 4 websites that pop up in the sponsored ad. And we want to be there because you typically choose one of the first ones that you see.
Yeah. So what is it, you talk about sponsored ads. So like sometimes I notice that, right? So for example, I'll use a hat company that I used to work with, Gorn, right? So Gorn hats. So I'll type in Gorn hats, right? And the first one will be sponsored and then it'll be the same website right underneath it that's not sponsored. So is there a difference between the two?
No, they're both the same website, but when you click on that top one that's sponsored, it costs the business money because they bought their own business keywords to make sure that when you type that name in, they're going to be at the top.
Yeah. Now, now, what about these like affiliated ads, stuff like that? Can people that want to do affiliated stuff, can they buy words to pop up so they have affiliated links?
Yeah, and that's part of kind of what ends up happening is that sometimes we'll buy our competitor's name. So when they're searching for so when they're searching for XYZ, you're gonna pop up.
And that's when I would say if I was Gorn's Hats, I don't know if I would purchase Gorn's Hats, because if someone's Googling that, they're obviously trying to get to my page. I would purchase my competitors' names instead, so I pop up before my competitors instead of popping up before myself.
Wow. Yeah, learning all these tricks.
Pretty sneaky.
Yeah. Now, keeping on social media, like, how does something go viral? Have you noticed, like, have any of your ads ever gone like viral?
Well, the more money you spend, the more people are going to see your ad. If it's something like Vidalia onions, we get a lot of interaction because people just love Vidalia onions. But as far as going viral, like with the reels that Becca does for Lynn Logic, some of them get pretty popular. It kind of just depends on how it hits with people. It's kind of just a draw.
Wow.
It's all about creating content that resonates with people. And, as we were talking about earlier with Lynn Logic, I always try to do really fun, a lot of times funny content that people will resonate with, rather than scrolling and seeing a picture of a home and saying this could be you. Now we're putting movement to it, and we want people to interact with it, and the more interactions that you get, the more people share it, the more people like it, the more popular it's going to be, and the more it's going to show up on people's feeds.
I was going to say, does it also trick the algorithm into keep on, like, more people like it, more people repost it?
Yes.
Then the algorithm's going to be like, okay, this is something that I need to continue showing.
Exactly.
Now, do you guys air commercials? Do you guys film commercials?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, so we could film commercials for actual, I don't want to say actual TV, but for cable.
Right, okay.
But then we also do OTT, which is over the top. And so that will be your streaming services like Hulu, Peacock, Paramount Plus. Netflix just started doing ads, so that's real fun. Yeah.
So, like, I'm just curious from my point. People probably listening are probably curious too. Like, so if someone comes in, they film an ad, how do you actually get it to the streaming service? Do you have like a platform that you use to send it over to them, or is it? Yeah.
So as we were kind of talking about with the ads manager in Meta, there's an ads manager for these streaming services as well, and it's really cool because you can kind of pick, like for White Star Supply is one of our clients. We're targeting people who are interested in home improvement, so we might target, like the not home improvement, but the DIY network, or I'm trying to think of my mind is going blank at the moment, but
like home for sales or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or if someone that has
HGTV.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yes. But you can target specific shows and specific networks that we think that our clients would.
That's so interesting.
Be watching.
And marketing is such an interesting, because you really have to go into the brain of the customer or the mind of the customer to say, this is what we think the customer is going to like.
Well, and we actually, our digital marketing partners, they have something really cool. They call it Gus. And we can basically get a whole bunch of data from things that people have filled out online. And so it makes it a lot easier. And I meant to mention this earlier when we were talking about trying to figure out who our target audience is. that makes it a lot easier to figure out who our target audience is. They can tell you, like, our clients eat at Longhorns every Friday night.
Wow.
Like, our clients are interested in football. Our clients are, the age group of 25 to 40. It's a little bit scary, the type of data that we can get.
Yeah. Now, are you guys worried about AI ever taking over?
No, we use it to our advantage.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So you're not worried about just some one person in one office doing everything with AI?
No, you have to have somebody to run it.
Well, that
it
one,
can't run itself.
that one person just doing keywords all day long.
You kind of touched on it a minute ago, but I think of all the disciplines in business, management, accounting, finance, marketing, I think, is one of those disciplines that have evolved the most. Mm-hmm. My hand in the way.
You're blocking their view of me.
I know. I'm so sorry. Has evolved the most, and you guys are on it now. I remember because when I was in college and studying, and the advertising was really magazines, TV commercials. There was no Meta or anything. Mm-hmm. So I don't say it's a young person's game, but you have to be able to evolve because the technology is growing exponentially.
Yes.
I mean, just think about it. We just had email was like the big thing in like 1993, and 20 years later, 30 years later, you can almost like think and your email shows up. Mm-hmm. And so there's a huge evolution there, but you don't see that in any other disciplines.
Yeah.
Meaning, because especially since I'm in accounting and finance, debits are debits, credits are credits.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed. Now the software may change,
right?
But the principles don't change. But
right.
For you, the principles do change because there's so much technology and there's so much more information that's
right.
readily available.
Yeah.
How do you manage all that information?
Well, for starters, we're constantly taking courses or watching podcasts and trying to stay up to date with what the newest thing is. So our graphic designers, they every year take a new graphic design course. In fact, right now they're all learning a new skill, so that we're able to better serve our clients. We're getting ready to do some Hootsuite courses. Hootsuite is the platform that we use to pre-schedule our content, and they always every quarter provide new courses that we can take where we basically can just soak up all of that information. I think it's the same thing with the websites as well. Everything's constantly evolving and we're constantly learning, but the good thing is we are still using some of those tactics that we used years and years before I was ever in marketing. You talk about the email, or you talk about print ads. We're still doing all of that. We still have billboards. We're still doing everything that we were doing before. We just added the digital side to it.
Now, how are you with these generational gaps? Is it harder now? I mean, we talk about targeting audience. Is it harder now? Like you have 18 to 25. I don't know all the generations, so forgive me. You got generation whatever, and then there's a difference between this generation and this generation. Like it has in marketing. Have you found that difficult to reach those different generations?
I think it makes it easier that it has their own specific interests and likes, because it makes that target audience more specific. And here, I mean, we have me being 22 all the way up to some of our older partners and graphic designers, so we kind of have an opinion from everybody, and everyone here has their own personalities, and like everyone's just so themselves that if we have a topic, everybody's going to put their input in. And yeah, I think it
makes it easier. Yeah, because I know like our generation, like we're the ones that dealt with rotary phones right? So I mean, I grew up with, from analog rotary phones to digital phones to a beeper, from a beeper to a cell phone
I
for
remember,
internet.
Yeah.
I remember our first answering machine. I mean, when call waiting was...
Yeah, call waiting was
that
like the newest thing.
Whoa, man.
Call-
Call waiting.
And then
And
call
I never
ID.
got it right. I always hang up on the person. But yeah, as Gen X, how would you market something towards a Gen X as opposed to someone like Gen Z?
Yeah, especially if it's that fine line in targeting where it could be for both.
Because there's some things that, if I would see something like, that's not for me, when it could be, but it's just not hitting the right buttons.
So that goes back to the brand voice and the messaging that we put out, and also what I was talking about with Gus. We can find out what your interests are, and we can find out, how we need to push this out to you for it to resonate with you. And that's one thing that I wanted to talk about. Some of our clients kind of struggle with because, they might say, "Oh, I want to resonate with the younger audience," and so then we get everything approved before we ever put anything out. And they're like, "Oh, I don't know about that. I don't really like that." And we're like, "Well, you're 75 years old." Not really, but
Wow, thanks. No.
we're sometimes we have to remind our clients we're not talking to you. We're talking to our target audience that you have defined. And so, no, this ad is not meant for you. So you might not like it for yourself, but your clients will. I mean, or your customers, or whoever is going to see it will. I was on a Zoom call earlier with one of our clients, and he has 0 social media. He doesn't have Facebook, he doesn't have Instagram, doesn't care about it, but he knows it works. So for his business, he's like, yes, we are doing social media. And those are the type of clients that you love, because it's like, even though you're not involved in it at all, you know that this works, and you know that this is what you need to be doing, to help grow your business. So
Yeah, that's important, because I think a lot of people, when they start their business or have a business, they do it because they like what they do. They like the product because it's their product. They like it. So, then my ad work is going to be something that I should like too. But no, it's what your customers, your target is. You got to look at it as an archer. You're aiming for something.
yes.
And to sit there and be like, well, I don't know about this.
Well, and sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow. I mean,
It is.
honestly, for me, if I were in that position and I didn't really think that would resonate with people my age, I completely understand it, but you got to put your mind in the mindset of your customer, not yourself. And that's another challenge that we kind of face. But
It is, because they have that, this is my business, and sometimes the customer's not always right. And so they're like, well, I should know better. I know my product. This is like, well, yes, you know your product, but you don't know your customer.
right.
And I've had conversations with people like that before. Just offhand, when I'm traveling or something like that, talking with someone. In fact, I actually flew from Boston to San Francisco with Jerry from Ben & Jerry's.
Really?
Oh, wow.
He was sitting right next to me. and I just had Ben Cohen was my commencement speaker. And this is just after they broke up. So
wow.
he's like, don't mention that name. but we talked about marketing and things like that. He's an older guy, but their whole idea for the Ben & Jerry ice cream was that younger, that 16 to 25 group. Because you look at their packaging, it's funky.
Yeah.
And it's young, and they even had stores in the Northeast, actually Ben & Jerry stores. The look was similar to what their cartons look like.
Yeah.
So we had a great conversation. I mean, it was a 5-hour flight. And they actually served Ben & Jerry's on that.
Oh, wow.
And so, but after we left, he gave me a big stack of free ice cream coupons.
Oh, that's awesome.
That you can't use because there's no Ben & Jerry.
But he is an older gentleman, but he understood who he was selling to.
Right.
And sometimes we have that age gap or generation gap. They sometimes miss that mark a little bit. You kind of have to
pull in the reins a little
pull in
bit.
the reins a little
Yeah.
bit.
But honestly, most of our clients, once you kind of explain, we're not talking to you, we're talking to this age group or this certain people who have these interests, they're very receptive to it, and it usually works out for us.
So I'm noticing, like, here, you got the nice shelf with I'm assuming all the clients that you work with, and I see all the different logos and the designs. How hard is it to not duplicate something that's already out there with a logo?
That is a great question that I don't have the answer to. I am not a graphic designer. I do not claim to be a graphic designer. Those guys and girls do an amazing job.
I mean, I see all these different
You have to
logos.
phone a friend on that one.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, I'm just,
I will say, we do, King and Prince Seafood is one of our clients, and we do a product guide for them every year. And it can be challenging to not do the same thing over and over again. And so that's why it's good for, like, when Juliana first started, we had a huge brainstorm of, like, these are some ideas of what we're going to do this year, really for next year, but in getting a different perspective from her, or some of the graphic designers might talk to some of the project managers to get a different perspective, and I think it's all about just really brainstorming and trying to figure out other people's minds. That way you're not constantly doing the same
Repeating,
thing over and over again. Yeah.
Speaking of brainstorming, what is the creative process for someone? So someone comes in, I've got this business, I want a website, I want the full social media package, I need branding, I want some print media. These are what that person wants. What's the process for H2O? Obviously you need you for the social media, but graphic designers, video people, photographers, creating a brand, creating this, slogans or phrases, or what's that? Do you all get together and just kind of...
Yes. But we're also, like I said earlier, we're a collaborative agency, so we want the client to be involved in everything that we do. We don't want to deliver something to them at the end of the day they're like, I hate this. We want to deliver exactly what they're looking for. And so the best way to do that is, they'll come in for an initial creative meeting, and our graphic designers do, and web designers. So Juliana just created a nice questionnaire for social media, asking the right questions to figure out, almost like getting inside of their head of like what they're wanting, and then we'll come back as a team, and we never have a meeting with just a project manager and a client, or just a graphic designer and a client. There's always several people in the meeting because we're all hearing different things. And so we'll come back, after the client leaves, we'll have a internal meeting where we talk about, this is what we heard, and figure out an action plan on how to go from there.
Almost like a jury after hearing a trial, trying to figure out everyone's opinion on
our deliberating.
I scribbled on so many notes during any meeting we have, and then afterwards I'll type out like, okay, what's the most important from here, and I'll send it to Beck, and I'll be like, this is what I got from it. And then we'll all have the meeting, and I'll explain to everyone, and they're like, oh, well, I heard this, and then it's just...
It's crazy how different people's brains work, because like I might hear something, but she heard something completely different, and so then it's up to us to talk about it and talk it through and figure out what the client
I've been there before, where somebody pitches something and everyone's like, but then sometimes if you pitch it the right way or you heard it differently, then everyone's like, that makes sense.
Yes. But we definitely like to have the clients involved every step of the way, because like I said, we never want to create something and force it down their throat. This is what you're going to do. We want to get their approval. We want for them to love it every step of the way. That way, when we roll out their brand and then we roll out a campaign, and they can never come back and say, well, I never really liked that in the first place. Well, we have worked on this together, so this is our baby, you know.
So you guys said you do shoot commercials. Now, do you have a whole team that writes out a script for the commercial?
Yeah, sometimes that's the project manager. Sometimes most of the time it's the creative director who is on that account, who usually doubles up as a graphic designer. So they kind of storyboard it. But like I said, everything that we do is a collaborative experience. So the graphic designer will kind of come up with a storyline, but then we'll get together and we'll talk about it. Lots and lots of meetings.
Yeah.
But we'll get together and we'll talk about it, and we make sure that it's the right thing and that we're doing, you know, the perfect storyline.
And one thing I've noticed working here just in my little 2 months so far is that everybody is so open to feedback and criticism, and that's so important.
Yep.
Like, say it even if you don't think we're gonna like it, because we need to know what you think. We need to talk it out, and you can't be scared of feedback and criticism yourself, because it only makes you better, and it's only gonna produce the most
it may
perfect.
be, and that criticism might be an idea that gets thrown on the table that's what works. Sorry, Frank.
That was, you know, two good comments, one critical comment type of thing. Is like, I really like this and this, but you know, if this was this way, we used to do that in our screenwriting group. We used to sit there and like, oh, I really like this. We had to have, you know, one piece of kind of constructive criticism.
Yeah.
You couldn't sit there and go, man, this is the worst script you ever wrote.
Right.
You gotta do the sandwich method.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Bad news, good.
but sometimes, which is really cool, and I agree with what she's saying, is like, even if you think it could be bad or you could get criticized for it, say it anyways, because something that doesn't work for what we're necessarily talking about right now could work for another client.
Right.
And so that might spark a whole nother conversation.
It's wild. I kind of missed the boat. I think
you missed your calling.
I think I had gone back to, if I could go back to Bentley back a long time ago, maybe I would have started in the marketing and not the accounting side of things.
And I mean, that's why I think I picked the perfect route, because like I said earlier, I get bored easily, and marketing is always changing. Going back to the conversation earlier, like, social media marketing wasn't a thing 20 years ago, and now it is. And then AI, I mean, they were open an AI course at this college within my 4 years in being there, and they're just constantly adding new stuff. Everything's changing, and it's fun and exciting.
Yeah. And even with our social media tactics, like, that changes all the time. We have
it really is, isn't it? Because it's whatever is trending, whatever the algorithm is going to take and use.
And you know, with our ads, our campaigns, there's always new things within the ads manager. So we have meetings with a meta rep every few weeks, and he's like, so here's what's new. And it's
I try to subscribe to as many marketing newsletters as I can. They're always pouring out new stuff.
Well, there's so much stuff to learn.
Yeah,
I bet, no doubt. Is there? I mean, you've got a lot of clients, and they stretch out to a lot of different industries. Is there an industry that you haven't gotten into that you want to get into?
So we have done restaurants and bars, but I bartended throughout college, and I would love to have a bar client that wants to do like really fun reels and like really fun videos. I think that would be super, super fun. We could get wild with it.
Yeah. And you see the vodka that we have here, got a couple of different beer. I was not here during that time, and I would like a client that we could start from the ground up with.
By taste testing.
Vodka specifically.
Taste testing first.
Yes.
Now, let's get to printed ads. We haven't really talked about printed ads. So printed ads, magazines, correct? Magazines, maybe newspapers. Is there any other media with the printed ads besides newspapers, magazines? Or that's basically kind of
Yeah. So we talked a little bit earlier about flyers.
Yeah.
That would be considered a print ad. Something really cool is that we can buy people's addresses, and we
Oh,
can,
no.
This Gus program.
So is this where is that why I'm getting all these flyers in my mailbox?
Yes, that's exactly how that happens. They have bought your address, and you can get pretty specific with what you're looking for. They're like, what they're not necessarily their interests, but their income, how many children they have, that how much their house costs, that sort of thing. So we'll buy their and we can buy their email addresses as well.
Oh,
Which
that's nice.
not print ads, but it
Yeah,
kind of
but
goes hand in
kinda
hand.
goes, yeah.
But yeah, so we'll print little postcards and mail them out.
So on print ads, let's say for clothing or maybe even bar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you guys ever do casting calls, or do you usually just like have somebody in house that say, "Hey, pretend to order a drink and we'll take a picture of you"?
Is typically in-house, but we don't really do casting calls per se, but between the 12 of us that work here, we all kind of know, like, I have a specific person in mind that would be good for this.
I have a friend.
Yes.
I know a guy.
I know a guy.
Yes. So we just did some reels for project that we're promoting with Lynn Logic and Point Villas, their townhomes over off of Chapel Crossing. And my idea with that was like, I want to show a family in this home, and like, this could be you. And so I'm like, I don't really know a family. I have in mind what I'm looking for,
Right.
but I don't know anybody that fits that bill. But of course, with our other 12 coworkers here, all we had to do was say, "Hey, this is what I'm looking for," and they're like, "Gotcha."
Are you doing like the funny real estate ads where they go in there and they start making fun of the house? Make fun of the house. You ever see those reels?
Say it again.
Is it a reel? Yeah, the reels where the lady, she's a real estate agent,
Mm-hmm.
and she has the mic and she's in front of the house and she's like, "Here's 12,000 square feet where you can drown your sorrows in."
Oh, yes. See, we do similar stuff like that with Lynn Logic's page. We always kind of stay on trend with all of their content. So we're always trying to make sure that we're using trendy sounds and we're doing, trendy reels for them.
Wow.
We haven't done that one specifically.
So I think that's something you should try. I don't know why I find them hilarious. They're just like, looks like the house from The Godfather. And whatever. Let's get to Brunswick real quick as we wrap up. What is something, because you guys are located downtown, right here in the heart of Brunswick. What is something that you would like to see come downtown, or anything that you would like to, business or anything that you would like to see?
I would like to see another restaurant bar that maybe could turn into a bar at night, and then during the day it's kind of a restaurant. But maybe I don't know, actually, because I'm thinking fine dining during the day, or not fine dining, but a little
Right.
more, not just bar food.
Right.
And then, at night it could turn into kind of a hangout spot.
Mm-hmm. I love the downtown area. I moved here from North Georgia, and I love going to Little Zooks. The study at Reed's is fun. I love the thrift shops. I love the coffee shops. That's just totally my vibe. And I would love to see just more of what we have now and for it to expand. I love Savannah.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to get that big. But if we just expanded more on what we already have, honestly.
Honestly, what I just described is things that we already have, like Reed's, they have fine dining, but then at night,
maybe some cheaper
the
drinks.
study.
Some are cheaper drinks, but
Tell me about
they're good.
But yeah, I think that we could support another kind of restaurant bar like that down here for sure, because especially on First Friday, you can't get in anywhere.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you're right. You can't unless you get here wicked early.
Right,
And
and nobody wants to do that.
Yeah.
No, I got.
I mean, we don't get here until almost 7:00, so
Right.
we're screwed. we're like, what food truck still has food?
Exactly.
By the time me and my friends get ready, it's like 7, 8 o'clock, and
And
everyone's packing up already.
yeah, they shut down at 9, and you're like,
Yeah.
come on, you stay till midnight. Let's do this.
Right.
Now, everybody listening, if we have some business people listening, or someone that's interested in starting a business and they don't have a concept, where can they find H2O? How can they get in contact with?
Oh, you can go to H2o creativegroup.com, or on socials. Our handle is also just H2O Creative Group. You can call us at our phone number that I don't have up right now.
Well, I'll put it on the description for you.
Yes, and you can come in and have a creative meeting with us for free and just see where your head's at. I mean, you don't even have to know if you want anything yet, and we can just talk to you.
Yeah,
we're more than happy.
The first one's free.
First one's free.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, thank you so much. This was a wonderful conversation.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
this is great. I learned a lot. Actually.
Yeah.
I'm really worried about this Gus program.
Yeah. We're going to have to find him. Well, thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.